It looks like some people are in Teams as well.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know how to remove it now that I've created the invite. I need to redo the invite after this meeting, so it doesn't have the option. But I'll mute myself, go in there and then direct people here.
I think.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Staff Council General Meeting for this month. I hope everyone's doing well. I am having a difficult time staying awake today because it has been so dark outside all day today, but we're kind of getting some snow, so maybe that's okay. Okay. Well, today's agenda is pretty straightforward, which is great. I'm actually very excited about that. So maybe the first thing would be to just give everybody a heads up about our schedule for the next few months. So next month's meeting during this time slot will be our holiday social on campus. So more information will be coming about that, but it will be in person on campus, I believe somewhere in the Union building. It'll be food and fun and come and hang out with your staff council members. And like I said, we'll send out a separate email about that, but we'll be doing that instead of this meeting. So no general meeting. I got a note in the chat that says, I can't hear you. Can others hear me? Okay, Susan, I'm afraid it's just you. Let me respond to her real quick. Okay. Okay. So that's next month. January, it is our tradition to cancel the meeting because it's the first week of the month and it bumps right up against the New Year holiday. People are still getting used to being back and that sort of thing. So holiday social next month and then no meeting in January. And then we're back on a regular schedule in February. So make a note of that and keep in touch with your committee chairs so that if you do have other meetings and other goings on during that period, that you don't lose touch during that time because we've got a nice break. Newsletter ideas, any ideas for the newsletter, any content that you'd like added there, make sure you're sending that on to Marie. And then just a plug for any speakers that you would like to hear from in the coming months. Let me know if you have any topics that are of interest or if you have heard a nice talk somewhere on campus that you think that the rest of the staff community would be interested in. Let me know so that we can set something up. And the thing I'll say too is, so we do have quite a few folks booked for the first couple meetings next year. But if we have topics that are of significant interest to the staff community, I'm happy to set up like a specific webinar so that they can speak and we'll just broadcast it as an event. So if you've got ideas, please send those on and don't think that they have to be committed to attending the first, Wednesday of the month because we can make it work. Okay, so first I'd like to continue with what we started last time and we're going to switch to the development committee for just a little introduction about what the committee does and who is serving there. So I think Anne and maybe BB is going to help with that too. Take it away.
Great. We have some very dynamic members of the development committee, and I would love for them to introduce themselves before we get started and talk a little bit about what we're talking about our direction for this coming year. Susan, who I know is kind of sort of on here, but I'm not sure she can hear or see. Are you there, Susan?
So it looks like her camera is
Camera's
on.
off. Okay, let's move on. Morgan, is Morgan with us? I'm not looking at both pages. So, hold on. I don't think Morgan's here either. Ashley? Okay, I've completely struck out, except for Lindsay. Lindsay, do you want to introduce yourself and tell people what you do and why you're on this committee?
Hi, I'm Lindsay Seltz. Sorry, I have a new computer on order and my camera doesn't work. So you can just look at my picture and listen to my voice. I'm Lindsay Seltz. This is my second year on staff council. I work in pediatric neonatology. I work in finance. and research over there. And I'm on development because I have some, I don't know, background in kind of advertising and marketing. So I figured I would maybe be able to use some of that over there, working on some flyers and the website. It's a great team and I'm excited to be on it.
Great. I see Susan has joined us, at least her picture has. Are you there, Susan? In picture, okay. Oh, well. We've also been working with Marie, who I think you guys all probably know, to help us with our website. Bibi, do you want to say hi and tell them what's gone on?
Happy to. Hi, everybody. Bibi Vanek. I was the former development committee chair for the last couple of years, 2020. And then I took over the position of executive secretary and handed the torch over to Anne. But already Anne has been crushing it completely, and with her background in development is going to take this above and beyond. So I'm really excited. I look at what I did as sort of maintain the good work that development had done, and I see what Anne and Susan and Lindsay and Ashley are going to be able to do. And Morgan is our communications liaison. So she's going to help elevate the awareness of what we do. But I see this group as a powerhouse, and I'm excited to watch what you all are going to continue to do.
Thanks. So am I. So we started off by doing some homework, and we're going to continue to do more and more homework to find out really and truly who our donors are, what their general donations are in terms of payroll deduction, but also if we have any individual donors over the years. And we are going to probably change some of our development strategy. We already have a space for Giving Day, and we will be recording the video for that next week on the 10th. And one of our former, oh shoot, her name just escaped me. One of our former recipients from last year is going to actually speak. And so we have a little 30-second video. And then what I'm really hoping to do is to dig really deep to find out who we can market to even before Giving Day, and possibly find some individual donors who might be interested. And also I started noticing some things on the website, like it mentioned departments, and I haven't seen, looking through things, any departments that have donated, but I'm thinking of maybe some challenges, like if you can, however many people in your department use a payroll deduction, will you match that? Something like that, or even a challenge among departments to see how many of their employees we can get to do payroll deduction. And maybe at that point, one of them, the department promotes it, and the one with the most gets some kind of a prize. Anyway, we're just kind of thinking about a lot of different things. We're also discussing the value of the scholarships, and that in today's market, it may perhaps need to be increased, possibly it might not be as many, but it might be for more money, which may be more of an enhancement or an enticement. So we're looking at a lot of different things, and whatever input you all may have would be wonderful. I have requested a list going 5 years back of all donors, including those who have given from payroll deduction. And I can't wait to get that. It's going to be a lot of pages. But I should have that for sure in the next 2 weeks. And then, then we can kind of gauge where they're coming from, and are there departments that are more prolific than others? And do we have departments where there's nobody that we need to start, talking to? So we are going to have a strategy, and we will have goals, and we'll have action steps, and I'm excited. I'm really excited.
It's very cool, and it's very exciting to see some development happening with the development committee. It's very cool. And I think one of the big things that we can work on maybe in the coming weeks or the coming months is payroll deduction. Like we've kicked this around a couple of times, but if we're dealing with a pool of about 38 to 40,000 staff members,
Yep.
if we got everybody to do payroll deduction for $1 a month, then that would like quadruple our annual incoming money for our scholarship program. So, we're dealing with a large pool of possible donors, but I don't think people know. The one thing I'll say, and this is something that happened just yesterday. So yesterday was the Staff Excellence Awards award ceremony, and Jeff Herring did a plug for scholarships. So it was great. There was actually a slide up where he said, "Hey, did you know this is a thing?" And there were, I was in the back, and there were a few people that looked at each other and were like, "Oh, I didn't know that was a thing." And I was like, huh?
Well, and I think I
great.
also, because of an experience that I had with a donor who gave us an endowment of, I'm not even going to tell you how much money it is, an endowment specifically for staff use, not faculty, not administration, but staff use on an annual basis for the Department of Psychiatry. And we're talking about $1,500 a year per staff member who wants to go somewhere, do some development, professional development or whatever. So those people are out there. We've just got to find a couple of them.
Yeah.
And
This is exciting.
I think we can. And I also want to look back at some of the alumni. I think that's something that hasn't been cultivated really much at all. So, one step at a time. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So
Yeah, well, and if the groundwork is laid, then maybe we set some things up and then pass the ball on to the future. But we can do what we can do. And the big thing is you're finding some things out that I don't think any of us realized. So this is good. It's good. And I think the work we're doing, just all the committees right now are like, there's stuff happening and people are working together and good things are happening. And I like the fact that there's a lot of organizational efforts happening where it's just like, let's figure out where we are and how we can clean this up a little bit. Cause I think that's good work.
exactly. So excited. Susan, do you have a voice yet?
Can you hear me? Because
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Susan.
I knew it was our department talking and I couldn't hear a thing. So
That's all right. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're on the development committee.
Susan Grant, and I seem to have a echo going now. I'm sorry if you can hear that. So I work in business services at the David Eccles School of Business, and I am a career coach for our finance students. And my background is in banking, financial services primarily. Prior to this, into working education, and before I came to the David Eccles School of Business, I was for a couple of years at University Health.
Great, thanks. So that's us.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, the development committee is doing some cool things, and it's definitely something where, if any of you are first term folks and you have some future years ahead of you and you're interested in that for next year, keep it in mind as we're picking committees for next year. Yeah, it's exciting. We're doing some good work there. Okay, so let's move on. The only announcement I have really is just kind of an information item. We had so many requests for staff representatives to serve on various committees around campus. And I'm still working through a lot of the emails that have come in over the past few weeks. And just a little bit of background, my office has had several unexpected resignations in the past few weeks. So I'm doing a little bit of scrambling and then trying to keep things organized for staff council on the side. So there's a little bit of a delay there, but the emails are still there and waiting for me to respond to them. The thing that I'm noticing is happening is a lot of these committee organizers, they may have gotten a little bit ahead of themselves. And so some of them have asked for staff reps, and I'm not entirely certain that they're ready to just like hit the ground running yet. So it's possible that you've been assigned to a committee and they just haven't reached out yet. So if you got an email where it was like for me saying, hey, so-and-so would like to join your committee, and you haven't heard anything back from that committee organizer, please let me know so that I can follow up with them and make sure that we don't have somebody waiting to serve on a committee and they're just, and nothing's happening. Other than that, maybe just hold tight and I'll continue to weed through email as I get around to it in the coming weeks. Okay. And then HR updates. And I did see, oh, that was from Melody. Okay. So let's start with, do we have a rep from HR? I didn't see if Andrea was on. I don't think Andrea Brown is here today.
I don't
Okay.
see her, but I didn't receive notice, so I might email her. She's not
Okay.
here.
She's usually here. Yeah.
So TBD.
Okay. And Lisa Dyson, are you on the call? Nope.
I did get an out of office from her.
Okay. And Melody Murdoch notified us that she wouldn't be here. So Erin, are you there? There you are.
I'm here. Hi. I don't really have an update though. Just wanted to catch as much as I could of the meeting. Sounds like there's a lot of great work going on.
Great. Awesome. All right. Well, let's go through committee updates then. So we'll start with communications. Marie.
Hello. Let's see. What are our updates? Still working on the website project, and I'm happy to say that my developer friend helping make some tweaks returned to the office today after vacation and have some updates made today. What that means is I've met with development so far, but I'll be building out the other committee pages and sending those out to the committee chairs and possibly setting up some meetings just to tighten up the content. Again, I guess my mantra would be, don't let perfection be enemy of the good. The goal will be to make the website good enough to push live, and then we can so that's sort of good news there. Our goal is to get this site up and running before Thanksgiving so that we can send out a special email from Lisa and David, kind of announcing staff council to the full staff list, which, by the way, I got the new list the other day. So that's sort of the goal. And then once we do that, then we'll start sending out our newsletter to the full list every month. So that's big excitement. We did send out the newsletter last week, thanks to Ms. Walcott, who thankfully also returned from vacation and did an amazing job. And I also want to tip my hat to David, who took all of those hand scribbled names from EAD and manually put them in our system. Thank you, David. We did, just FYI, have about 40 hard bounces from that list. So I'm going to go back and do an audit and see if it was a typo thing or if somebody left or why that was. But we did get our newsletter this month out to about a little over 1,000 people. So it was, net over from when we started in summer, where we were around 830, we've crossed over the 4-digit mark. So that's good. And then the other thing that we're working on, which is a little further behind, is social media. We're getting together some branded colors and logos. I have not received our new logos yet, but I'll be pinging those friends. And then once we get that up, that's sort of the next phase where we can start to drive traffic to our social media channels. So yeah, that's kind of the highlights from
Excellent.
the world.
That's awesome. Yeah. Amazing things happening there. And I think a lot of it has been a little bit quiet of late because there's tons of stuff going on behind the scenes. So I'm very excited for when we can show you all the website, because it's going to look good. It's going to look real good. And did you have anything additional to add about development? You're good to go. Okay. EDI, Lindsay.
Sorry, there was a pop-up that was hiding my mute button. I couldn't find it or move it. I don't have too much to update. We do have our links to the Affinity page request form that is live, and so far I haven't gotten any notifications that anybody's applied. So our next step on that front, in our next meeting, we'll briefly discuss. I'd like to put together a flyer to maybe send out to the newsletter just as a reminder, and to sort of officially announce the ability to start gathering in this way. So that will be coming. Our next meeting is next Tuesday, and we do also have a book club that evening. So that will be our second book club. Hopefully it won't just be me and one other kind person in the room. So I'm really hoping to get some more people to join. If you all are interested and haven't already received the link, you can email me, or we do have an email for Staff Council EDI, and I'd be happy to send you that information. And I think that's about it for now that I can think of.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Cool. One thing that might be cool is if you guys want to send out information about the book club to your office. I mean, just a few people to start getting the ball rolling on those, I think would be great. Maybe we could put something on social media too, and just see if we can generate some last minute interest in that. But also I wonder about the affinity groups. I wonder if we could include something when we do our announcement email about the new website, maybe just drop something in about that too. So if we don't, I mean, we had a couple of people that came to me informally asking about, you know, how to do that. And then I haven't heard anything from them. It's busy times. So maybe it's just been burnered for them, but I don't want to let that drop, because there was a lot of work put into getting that set up. So let's make sure that that we set it up for success. Okay, events, Melissa.
Sweet, can you hear me? Awesome. Okay. Woohoo! Holiday socials coming up. Party. So we have looked into a couple different options about what we kind of want to do and getting with budget and everything. It will be at the Union, from kind of like how Lisa mentioned earlier. And we are possibly going to rent some bowling lanes so you can bowl. If you want to just sit back, chill, and relax and talk to people, you can do that too. We're going to have, I don't know how much I want to spoil, but we'll have great treats. So I'll just leave it at that we will have some goodies. So feel free to come. If you want to go bowling, that will be an option if you want to just kind of sit and talk and get to know some other members of the committee. It will be, okay, I always say the wrong date on this.
It's December 7th. So it's the same time slot as this meeting, but next month. So December 7th from 2 to 4 on campus.
Yeah. And then if you didn't see Kim, just mention that you have to bring your UID to bowl. So hopefully it's good weather. It's not going to be snowing, and that you will all have a safe commute there and back. So that's our big thing coming up right now. We are kind of looking into some options of either, if you guys haven't seen already, the Grizzlies is coming up this month, but we have been looking into seeing if we could do something with either women's or men's basketball in the U, and getting staff tickets like that, kind of like we did for the football one. And then we're going to see if we could do something with the Jazz, because I know in the past at one point we were able to have staff one for that. But I do see about the dietary stuff. So if you guys have any dietary or food restrictions, please just send them to any of us on the committee, and we'll take that into account when we're getting the treats. So yeah, we're looking into kind of getting some of those things at least that's where we're kind of getting to the end of the year. We have been looking into options of tag teaming on for like food drive and having like staff council be a team for a food drive, because we know some of you guys work in like hospital, clinics, campus, everybody's doing their own kind of food drives. So we're trying to find a way that we could have all of staff council be a team and say, this is what staff council contributed. So that way it gets our name out showing that we're participating on everything going on campus and we're not just hanging to one side. So we're looking into seeing what's the best food drive option to participate in as a team for staff council. But yeah, that should get us to at least the end of the year. So get super excited for bowling and some goodies coming up. I will put my email in the chat. So if you have dietary restrictions, you can just send them my way.
Thank you. And, I just want to echo what they're saying. I mean, we got a lot of things being planned right now. Watch your email, because we'll probably send individual invites about all this stuff as we get everything finalized and it gets closer, just so that we don't let things slip through the cracks. I think the big thing is just coming up between now and this time next month is just the EDI book club and the discount ticket night for the Grizzlies. So I dropped those in the chat as well if you want to go look at those, and then they'll also be in the minutes for this meeting. So but yeah, it's a busy time and a fun time, but feel free to participate in what you can. And if you want to help out with one of these activities, let Melissa know that you're willing to volunteer and help out. Okay. Legislative. Man.
Hi, yes. Not a tremendous amount, other than we had a couple of articles for the newsletter this month, one about voting and how to vote and where to find information on candidates, things like that. And then Suzanne put together a post or an article about the student loan forgiveness program and how to apply, and making sure that even though it's currently on hold, that you can still apply for it. And so that all went out this month. Working on one of how to talk to your legislator. There was a couple of really good connections of folks to talk to at the U who've put together some similar things. So we're going to probably aim that maybe at the either December or January newsletter, just, heading into the legislative session that's coming up. We will be, just a heads up, we will be getting a bill tracker from Natalie Tippett's and Jason Perry's office as things come up, that we can kind of track bills that they are looking at. As I've mentioned before, they are willing to help us with talking points and things if the staff council decides that there's something that we want to either support or oppose. They're more than willing to help with that as well. I need to reach back out to them. We're hoping that they can do a legislative wrap-up session in March, since they could not attend this meeting, as a kind of a precursor to the session. And then the other piece is we really want to at one point soon, probably after this legislative session, is utilize the newsletter and possibly do something on the website where people can submit, the staff at large can submit thoughts and ideas around things that the staff council might be able to get behind as far as the legislature is concerned. So I think that there's some, we were a little bit behind the ball with this year's legislative session. It was just too soon to try to, collect any kind of information along those lines and target that. But we can do that absolutely for next year and try to maybe get some things rolling in advance. So, but other than that, anyone, either Andrea or Suzanne or Krista, that I may have missed that you think is important to share?
No, I think you covered it.
Yep, nothing here.
Awesome.
This sounds great. And this is another area where, if all we manage to do this year is lay the groundwork so things run more smoothly next year, I'm okay with that. There's a lot going on legislatively legislatively in our state right now, and these are important things. The other thing is our legislative committee is the one of the main connections to the UHESA committee, which is again that statewide committee where all the institutions in the state get together a little bit. They are, and I'll just give you my update on this committee now. They seem to be struggling a little bit to get organized and make things happen this year, which I understand. Everybody's institution is struggling a little bit, and the folks from some of the other institutions in Utah, enrollment is down, and they're having some tough times. So so that I'm not too concerned about right now, except to say that they're kind of looking to us a little bit to help drive a few things where this is concerned. And part of that is because we're the school in Salt Lake City, and that's where the legislative session happens. So I kind of get it. And so, this is something where if we can lay some really good groundwork so that, this bill tracker thing is great. Like if this is a resource that we could, somehow have access to on the website or something like that, that I could just send a link to UHESA so I could say, hey, look what we're doing. That might help them a little bit get organized, because I'd love to see a time where a group of staff members from Utah Higher Education Association go up to the legislature and, make our presence known. Because from what I understand, we used to do that. And COVID has derailed a lot of in-person things, but I think that especially in these times, we need to make our presence known. And also, the newsletter reminded me that I needed to mail in my ballot, so thank you for that. Good things there. Anything else? Anything in the chat? No, we're good. Okay, selections.
Hello. So we have completed reviewing all the applications that we have received up until I think last week. We did receive one, I think it was earlier this week. But for right now, we have filled all of the committees, so they have all their full member voting. I know it's great. And we still need alternates in student affairs and administration. And actually, I wanted to look at something really quick. So that's all filled. As we continue receiving applications, we'll keep up on that, and then I'll send, or one of us will send the emails letting them know that we acknowledge they applied and when we'll be reviewing the applications again. And I think that's about, my next steps, the committee, because it's not me, as I have the emails that I've sent people out for now, I've put in just like a Word document. So I'm adding that to our box folder, and I'll send that email to the selections committee so that they could go through those emails, the letters, give suggestions. We'll work on that along with the timeline and deadlines for all the other things. So that's what we're working on now. And then prepping for the next round of scholarships and then spring applications. But yeah, it's good. It's nice to know that our committees are filled.
Yeah. Well, and this is something that, last year, and I think the year before as well, because of some of the rigidity that I think was in the bylaws perhaps, but it was kind of like this thing where it was like, we take applications and then we're locked down and we get what we get. Well, life happens and people join the committee and then they have to step down or they leave the university. So, we got to a place about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, where I was the only person on the communications committee. And, there was several committees that were woefully understaffed, and it makes it so that your effectiveness is very limited because, we all have other jobs to do. So I think one of the things that we're going to work on in the coming months is to loosen that up a little bit so that we can take rolling applications if we need to, up to a certain point. But the fact that we've been able to fill all those slots is amazing. And one of the other things we need to do in the coming months is do an assessment for next year to see how we're balanced and where we need to focus on recruiting for next year. This is so great.
Yes, thank you. They did good. Well, but yeah, there's still a lot of work to do, but I'm excited for when that's done and then just moving forward from here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for your hard work on this because I know
Thank
it
you,
hasn't been
team.
easy.
I have a good team. Thank you.
Yes. Well, and with that, those of you who are new to the council and have joined a little bit off cycle, if you are not assigned to a committee or you don't know what your committee is, will you please email me, and I'll drop my email in the chat so that you can reach out. But what I'm talking about there is these committees that we have talked about so far. So that's communications development, EDI, events, legislative, and selections. Everybody should have a home. Everybody should have a committee that they're working with. So if you don't have one or you don't know who your committee is, please let me know and I'll make sure that you get assigned. Okay. Anybody else have anything that they want to talk about? Okay. I kind of dropped my campus committee updates in as we've been talking. Staff Excellence Awards, the last of the award ceremony stuff for this year was yesterday. So that cycle has ended, and the new cycle will be, I think applications open in May of next year. I am serving on a subcommittee right now that's working on expanding the Staff Excellence Awards. I also know HR is working on some website updates, and they're going to have a whole campaign next year to hopefully make the Staff Excellence Awards a little bit higher profile. So some exciting things that are happening for next year, but that one's put to bed for this year, which is good news. UHESA, like I said, a little bit slower, and we had a quarterly conference that was supposed to be planned for next week. They've canceled it just because the organization of it hadn't happened yet. So yeah, things are tough, I think, statewide for folks, and so anything that they can take off their plates right now, we're kind of going, yeah, let's just have our usual Zoom meeting instead. So nothing to report there, really. Hopefully they're trying to find a new legislative chair for the committee. Hopefully they'll have some success there so that we can do something for the legislative session this year. We'll see. The kind of good news, I'm not sure yet, we're still working this out, but so the conference for next week was supposed to be in Southern Utah, which meant we were on the rotation for next spring, and I think I mentioned this a couple of times. I'm not sure if that's still going to happen or if it's going to get bumped back, TBD, but I'm really glad we didn't start planning it yet because now they're changing everything. So I'll let you know if we're still on deck to plan an in-person conference for next spring. But I'll let you know on that one. Any committees that anybody else is serving on around campus that you have updates on? Okay, well, great. This has gone very well today. If anybody has anything else they'd like to add, or any updates or anything for the newsletter, make sure you send those our way. Don't forget about the holiday social next month instead of this meeting. And just a reminder, so this meeting is open to the public, but the social is just for council members. So let's just make sure that's clear. And so please come next month and meet your fellow council members. It should be a good opportunity to just socialize a little bit and maybe get a little bit of the holiday spirit going. So I hope to see you then. And I think that's it. So thank you very much and have a good rest of your afternoon and have a good rest of your week. Thank you, everybody.